feeling like I'm academics. Can't ride away.
It's gonna be like pandemonium in the goddamn streets. So I'll show you videos later. But yeah, essentially he's been freed. You know, I mean, let's relate it to the Young Thug thing, right? Let's relate it to the Young Thug thing. There's a possibility that if this trial, which I don't think it will get to a mistrial, but if it does get to a mistrial, let's say in the next 6 months or a year, it's very possible, especially with what's going on with Fonnie Willis, with also, like, I believe it's about to be a changeover of that DA's office pretty soon. They might say, yo, we're not going to pursue another trial. Like, it's just taking too much money. Do you imagine how much money is taken for the YSL trial? The YSL trial, literally, they got to give lawyers to like 8 people. They got to house, feed them, give them clothes. They got wardrobe budgets because these guys, they can't show. None of the defendants who are locked up in the YSL case could show up to court in jail outfit. By the way, that's like, I forgot what case that kind of established that precedent. Yo, you're prejudicing the jury. Like, if the jury sees somebody with handcuffs and like in motherfucking like prison outfit, you're probably gonna think, well, nigga, they're already where they're supposed to be. You get what I mean? So everybody's allowed to show up in suits or, you know, shirt and tie, you know, something respectable that at least when the jury sees them, they don't see them in handcuffs. They don't see them as a guilty person. So Fulton County's, they're spending a grip on that, right? By the way, I guess since we're here, I could just update you fully on the YSL thing. And again, World Boss, come on road, isn't it? Like, we're gonna be talking about this much more, but we do have a bunch of other things to talk about as well. Anyway, there is an update on the YSL case. It says Judge Whitaker, this is the white lady who's now taking the bench. You know, they filed a motion for Young Thug's release on bond. Because they're like, oh, finally we get that. The nigga with the earring in his ear, you're in Glenville. We got him out the way. Maybe this new judge will be like, yo, shit, this kind of been so unfair for y'all, Young Thug. Like, I'm going to give y'all a bond. But apparently she denied Young Thug's motion for bond. By the way, this is Young Thug's 5th or 6th motion for bond. And she said that she will not reconsider unless there's a real legitimate change in circumstances. Keep in mind, by the way, this is what she said. I'm not going to reconsider bond. They denied someone else's, Marcavius Huey's motion for bond. And this is what she said. It's unfortunate that this case has lasted as long as it has. It is unfortunate that there has been delays in this case, but those do not, in this court's mind, amount to the claim of changed circumstances. So the court is just saying, we don't care how long this shit takes. And you got to remember why they're saying Young Thug shouldn't get out. They're saying Young Thug is ordering murders. They're not going to allow that nigga to be at home. You know what I mean? Probably that nigga probably ordering a murder off his iPad like his Uber Eats. So that's how the court's still looking at it. I know there's a lot of Young Thug fans hopeful. They're hoping it's going to be a mistrial at some point. And it kind of feels like it won't be, right? Like, you know what I mean? This judge don't seem like they came to just grant a mistrial. And shit, if it does get one, or if somehow this goes to a hung jury, which I don't know, like, these jurors got to be like, yo, the jury in the Young Thug case got to be like fucking tired. Yo, keep in mind, when they got put on, sworn in as jurors, essentially they were told, yo, check this out. This shit might last 2 years. 2 years? What? Nigga, I got a job. Nah, it's okay. We're going to give you, I forget how much they're giving these people a week. It's not a lot. It's like maybe $300. You know what I mean? Like $300 a week, right? $300 a week for everybody. Bruv, you know, if you had a really decent paying job, you're getting way more than that. So now you got to commit a year of your life. Now, granted, I think there's something that says your job can fire you if you're like a full-time worker, this and third, if you get called for jury duty. But if you're a temp worker, they could get rid of your ass. You get what I'm saying? So some people got to make those decisions. Damn, can I really like be on this jury for all this long? Okay, cool. That's all happening. Then the whole thing where Brian Steele and the other attorneys was like, yo, y'all did some shit that we don't fuck with. You know what I mean? And everybody, now they're saying about this Ex Parte meeting. And now we get the recusal of the judges. The jury hasn't been back in court for 2 weeks. So now you're at home, not getting paid, just sitting, waiting for the court to tell you when to show up the next time. I don't think they paid them for the days they don't show up. So, and maybe not everybody could just go back to their job for like a week or two and be like, oh, well, I don't know if I'm gonna be here tomorrow, depending if they call me. This is like a clusterfuck, right? This shit is like the worst thing ever. Let's look at let's see. Let me see. Let's look up law and crime. I think we could probably get we're not gonna do a long update on the YSL trial, but essentially Young Thug still denied bond. Let's see if we can get a quick update. Can we get a quick update? No. By the way, we do have some Diddy stuff to talk about. We got some Diddy stuff to talk about. Let's see, YSL. I can't get the YSL. Okay. I'll just search YSL trial. It should be an update. Here we go.
Well, tonight, new motions in the YSL RICO trial from the prosecution and defense as the trial gets set to resume. What's its third judge on this case? Attorneys for Jeffrey Williams, also known as Young Thug, filed a motion requesting bond. Williams has been in custody since his arrest in 2022. And Fulton County prosecutors are asking to limit defense attorneys' comments made to media. Just last week, Judge Paige Reese Whitaker laid out a new set of rules. Whitaker stressed that the trial will be moving ahead, full speed ahead. A ruling will be made on a number of motions as court picks up on Tuesday, July 30th.
Well, today, defense attorneys in the YSL RICO trial expressing outrage over a...
Here's this. Yo, it appears that the lawyers for YSL, especially even Brian Steele, is like, bro, this shit is taking so long. Like, you know, this new white judge said, yo, if y'all got... She ordered the state prosecutors to, or the DAs, she ordered them to literally come with a concise list of people they want to bring to the stand. Because if they got 300 witnesses, it's going to take like years to get this shit done. And they're just saying, bro, you have to tell us why the fuck you need all these people. Because I get it, it's a RICO case this and third, but come the fuck on. So even the judge is saying, yo, we got to make all this shit concise, right? If you don't need someone, if you're going to have 5 people come say the same thing, like just use 1 or use 2, right? If you're going to have 10 people prove 1 point, just use 1 or 2, right? That's what the judge is saying. He doesn't want this to be long. But here's the thing now. So what's happened now is the lawyer for YSL and Young Thug, they're attacking the process more. Just they're trying to get this mistrial shit real bad, hoping that this has been such hell, kind of like almost like the Vibes Cartel thing. It's like, this has been such hell. If we get a mistrial, y'all just won't refile again, and we could let these niggas go home, right? Or they'll be like, oh, you know, we'll just get a plea, time served. So there's a second apparent call for a mistrial. Here it is.
Second private meeting where the case was discussed without them. They allege the comments made behind their back are disparaging and inappropriate and possible grounds for mistrial. 11 Alive's Grace King joins us live tonight from the Fulton County Courthouse. I know, Grace, you have been following this case very closely over the last several months. Why could this new transcript be a problem?
Well, there are several portions of it that Judge Paige Whitaker said she'd be, quote, a little hot under the collar about if she were still a practicing attorney. She's going to take that into consideration as she rules on this final outstanding mistrial motion.
What do I say?
I don't know. Obviously, I don't know what to say right now either.
On Wednesday, revelations of a new ex parte meeting sparking disappointment and outrage in the courtroom.
This is gross. This is disgusting. But it's all starting to make sense.
Attorney Max Shart expressing his frustration over the contents of this transcript. In it, now recused Judge Earl Glenville asked the state what they want him to do and what they think he can do. Assistant District Attorney Adrian Love responded, saying that is the exercise, that is the homework for tonight.
Steam's been coming off my bald head all night. Nothing about this is okay.
He and attorney Doug Weinstein highlighted portions they felt were inappropriate, like a line referring to outside agitators and everybody else trying to influence the case.
Myself and my fellow outside agitators over here, I assume that they are upset as well.
I don't think Honestly, I don't think that reference was to anybody who is a member of the bar.
The state, after listening to these allegations, raised concerns about professionalism in the courtroom.
Being called co-conspirators is not something that I would expect to have heard, no more than I would expect to level a assertion that Mr. Shar is a defendant.
Whitaker asked everyone to take a deep breath as she considers this transcript as part of a motion for a mistrial.
If I determine that that there was coercion that is unconstitutional or structural error, then I will grant a mistrial.
Okay, so she's basically saying, if I feel like the prosecutors and the judge were basically trying to figure out how they could send these black men to jail, and they weren't trying to operate in a fairness on bias in the pursuit of justice neutrally, she's going to grant a mistrial. Now, that's interesting because I'm going to be honest with you. I do think there's going to be a lot of blowback from this. If she says that Judge Glenville, who, by the way, here's the thing that people believe also is like stacked deck against Young Thug. The Glenville dude that they took off the case, he's the chief judge in that courthouse, right? So in that courthouse, Fulton County, the Superior Court of Fulton County, he's the chief judge. All judges, so this white judge now, if she gets a case and her case, like say somebody say something's wrong, whatever, he'll also review some of her cases and he'll have say on her cases. Now, again, if you slam him, I don't know if he's down to retire. Like some people feel like he's about to retire or whatever, but still, people have egos. Yo, if you my colleague and you go on record and say that I am colluding with the prosecutor, do you know what that means? That it means much more than just for this Young Thug case. Other people who had the judge is probably going to say, hey, I had the same prosecutor and the same judge. I want to know if they had any ex parte meeting without our defense attorneys. Maybe this guy who is the chief judge of this courthouse, right, has fucking colluded with the prosecutors mad times to send mad people to jail. I'm in jail because them two were the two active parties. You know what I mean? Miss Love and Glenville. A lot of this comes with precedence, right? Like, you know what I mean? When they find out one cop lied, like anytime they find out a cop lied, even later in the future, usually that's good grounds for appeal for other like, you know, defense attorneys if they won't be like, oh, the key witness that was a cop, we found out they lied then. Well, this is kind of a similar case. If they lied then, and we believe the jury used their testimony because they're a cop, we think that they should have not been qualified to even testify. Because they testified, we think that we should get an appeal. See, matters. So again, I'm wondering how all this is happening. A bunch of people feel like it won't get to a mistrial, but we will see. We will see. Let me play one more, and then here we go.
We were made aware, leading to the recusal of Judge Glenville, that there was an ex parte meeting that occurred on June 10th, Monday, June 10th. We were not told by the state, we're not told by the judge that had occurred. We found out about it, luckily, and by happenstance. We then demanded a transcript. We complained about said ex parte, inappropriate ex parte meeting. At no point, when the court finally acknowledged that there was an ex parte meeting that occurred on Monday, June 10th, at no point did the court or the state at that point acknowledge, oh, by the way, there was another ex parte meeting that occurred on June 7th. We sat there after finding out about one ex parte meeting and having to drag the truth out. We sat there and The state.
Now, and I know some of y'all think I'm like anti-Young Thug. I'm definitely not. You know, I'm just trying to also be realistic for y'all. I think this is a very good point. So here's the thing: you can't undo something that's already happened. And a lot of times in these court cases, it matters about what is heard or seen in open court. Now, that usually means that when the trial is happening and it's on official record and the jury's in the room. Now, here's the thing. This is why these ex parte meetings matter. Well, let's say YSL Woody was going to say either A, B, C, or D, or maybe not say nothing at all, or potentially was down to just get arrested. If y'all coerce him to not do what he was going to do, and y'all almost like forced him or threaten him in this ex parte meeting, then he gets on the stand and says E, F, G, H. Well, you can't reverse it in the juror's mind. They didn't see A, B, C, D as he allegedly wanted to do or say. They saw E, F, G, H. So how could it be fair? Y'all basically made this nigga say some shit that the jury seen, and the jury that y'all keep, even though, you know, this is like a wishful thinking. They'd be like, when you go home, don't look at the case, don't Google nothing, blah, blah, blah. Jurors probably do, but still, you can't erase something from a juror's memory. Shit don't work like that. So they do have a good point about this like mistrial shit. Like, bruv, the whole thing is about YSL Woody's testimony. It's like, dog, like, if he told y'all privately, publicly, his attorney saying that he wasn't going to testify, or he told y'all that, oh no, I'm the one who did the killings. If y'all threaten him that he doesn't do what he was going to do, but he does what y'all want him to do to not get in trouble, and now we realize that meeting should have never happened, but the jury heard what he said, and what he said is in y'all favor, and it hurts the defense. I don't know if that's fair. I'm going to keep it a bean.
And their co-conspirator, the trial court, were silent about the first ex parte meeting that happened on June 7th. What happened in that meeting on June 7th? The state went in and disparaged defense counsel. The state, with no one else there, trashed a fellow member of the bar, Mr. Melnick, trashed another fellow member of the bar, Caleb Bumpus, presumed the guilt of all these individuals, including my client, Shannon Stillwell, and all but accused myself and Mr. Steele of being co-conspirators in this YSL enterprise. And the judge agreed. And the judge...
Okay. So now we're getting to the meat and potatoes of this. Essentially what this whole thing is, and I actually do believe this, right? I think the judge is frustrated that he has the longest case ever in Fulton County history. I think the prosecutors feel like, hey, listen, the RICO Act was supposed to get the guys who push the buttons but never pull the trigger. And yeah, this is meant to get Young Thug, right? That's why RICO has always been great to use for prosecutors, but really is used really well federally. This is state. State's a little sloppy. Now, here's the thing. The prosecutors are frustrated. They feel like Young Thug, because he got money, has somehow subverted his funds, paid for everybody's lawyer, so everybody's lawyer rocks to the beat of his tune. But even the witnesses who they thought was going to snitch, Young Thug basically is infiltrating, or Young Thug basically have them saying everything that he needs them to say to get off. So they're frustrated. The judge is frustrated too. The judge is like, fuck. So they're having this ex parte, which means, you know, missing someone, which is the defense. They're having this meeting to say, bro, I think all of them are in on this shit. Yo, how come our witness we talked to for months never said none of this? He was cool. Now we get in court, he's switching up. How come every time when Brian Steele says something, 4 other attorneys co-sign it? They're not even looking out for the best interest of their guy. It feels like they're just ganging up on us. Young Thug is using his bread to basically jump us in court. And the judge he's supposed to be impartial, but he's watching the shenanigans. He's like, I won't lie, you're right. What could I do to make this fair? You know what I mean? You're not supposed to have those conversations, even if that's the case. Well, what they're supposed to do is to find the evidence of Young Thug doing witness tampering, not to make up these theories that are unsubstantiated. If you think Young Thug got YSL Woody and all these other attorneys, whatever, like moving around like a puppet, find the evidence. Execute warrants that you can see. Obviously, here's the thing too: it's hard to do because there's attorney-client privilege. You know, it's kind of like with Tory and Kelsey. They asked Kelsey, "Yo, Kelsey, who paid for your lawyer?" Kelsey like, "I don't know, I forgot." How you forgot who paid for your lawyer? Man, lawyer fees are expensive as fuck. Trust me, when they send you that bill, you know who damn well wires you the money. Here's the thing: she says she don't remember. She's not lying. It's not like she said, "Oh, I did," and then you could prove she didn't. That's perjury, right? She said I don't know. Now, the prosecutor in that Meg case was like, nah, Tory's paying for this shit. Tory's setting all this up. Here's the thing. They would never catch Tory on it. Why? Tory would be a dumbass to call on the jail phone to either her lawyer or her himself. You're caught. So you know what probably happens? Whatever Tory talks to his lawyer, that could never be admissible in court. Attorney-client privilege. Now, Tory's lawyer could do the dirty work. Tory's lawyer could be like, you know what? I know this other lawyer. And this other lawyer, me and him, we've worked cases together before. I'm going to bring him on. We'll just say we suggested that she gets this lawyer. Or no, we won't say we did anything, but I'll suggest it to her or, you know, whatever. And you're in the clear. And once it's this lawyer, all attorney-client conversations are privileged. How they going to find out? They can't find out nothing after that. So that's what people kind of think. But, you know, these prosecutors here are thinking the same thing with Young Thug. But you're not going to catch him doing none of that. So they're fucked. They're frustrated. That's it. They're just frustrated. We're like, damn, I know Young Thug is using his money to fuck up our case. He's controlling our witness. He's controlling the other defense attorneys. Fuck. And the judge is seeing it, but the judge can't do nothing. The judge kind of want to help them too.
Said in this Ex Parte meeting, yes, I've observed these things. The judge presumed.
By the way, you know why the judge was also mad too? The one that got recused, Glenville? Because it kind of proves that theory and thought. Why would Woody's lawyer snitch on the judge about an ex parte meeting to Young Thug's lawyer if they weren't working together? But here's how it works in court. You can't control what the fuck Woody's lawyer has conversation with, and also you can't force him to like basically show if he's ever had conversations with Young Thug's lawyer, even though by the mere definition of them getting that information, and they were the only people that weren't a part of the court staff or the prosecution that got it. Yeah, Woody's lawyers talked to Young Thug's lawyers. That's what happened, and gave the info. So that's why Glenville was so mad. Like, tell me who said it. Tell me who said, because he want to sanction the Bumpus girl, which I think was she was stepping in for Melnick, I believe, in representing Woody. So he wanted to sanction her, but he needs them to say it because technically it could have been a court staff, even though they wouldn't. Like, why would they do it, right? It could be the prosecutor, but why would they do it, right? So that's why the last judge was mad. And yeah, you know, it's all a game going on here.
The guilt of all the defendants. The judge presumed the guilt of myself and co-counsel, Mr. Steele. And all this, people have been saying to me throughout this whole trial, why does Judge Glenville have it out for you? And it never made sense. And I don't assume bad motives of anyone. Why did Judge Glenville, when you did nothing wrong, try to throw you in jail? Accuse you of cussing him out in open court when you didn't do anything? Why does he always yell at you, tell you to sit down and be quiet? Why does he cut you off at every opportunity? Why did he try to throw Brian Steele in jail for 20 days for doing what was right? And I didn't have an answer. And then yesterday I received, and I appreciate that, Judge. I appreciate someone finally being open about what's going on here. And I received a transcript. And in that transcript, the trial judge, who's not only assuming the guilt of my client, but is assuming the guilt of me and my friend, Mr. Steele. This is gross. This is disgusting. But it's all starting to make sense. It clicked when I read that transcript last night. This is not okay. Nothing about this is okay. These gentlemen have a right to a fair and impartial judge. And I appreciate the fact that you are going to be a fair and impartial judge. But the reality, Judge, is that they don't have a right to a fair and impartial judge starting on witness 76 of a trial after 9 months or whatever it is. They have the right to a fair and impartial judge from the beginning. And this is absolutely gross and disgusting. And the bottom line is, there's a lot more discussions that need to be had about this. But the bottom line is, if you ask me, do we need to revisit the rulings of the judge who sits in chambers secretly and talks to the other side and says, yes, I've been observing this. I've been observing this about what's going on in the trial. The judge that says, not only I'm going to meet with you on Friday and on Monday, but if we need to talk during the weekend, yeah, we can do that. The judge that suggests handing Mr. Copeland a list of questions. Do we need to revisit those rulings? Absolutely, we need to revisit those rulings. We need to revisit everything. This is broken, and it's not okay.
Okay.
Tonight,
It's
Atlanta
not okay.
rapper Young Thug and the other co-defendants in the YSL RICO trial will remain in jail. Judge Paige Whitaker says that the defendants' circumstances haven't changed since their last
denying bond.
Bond hearing. Now, she ruled on about a half dozen motions today. She denied all of them except for one, for a mistrial, including one that alleged she could not successfully pick up the trial 9 months into testimony.
I absolutely intend to familiarize myself with what has gone on in this trial prior to me getting involved in it. I've already begun to.
As long as Judge Whitaker denies this final mistrial motion, she hopes to resume the jury trial on Monday.
Okay, and I think this is the last one.
Young Thug's internationally watched criminal.
Extreme doubts about the ability of this case to move.
I'm going to deny the state's motion.
Attorneys for Jeffrey Williams, a.k.a. Young Thug, filed a motion to remove 2 prosecutors from this case based on a private meeting on June 10th between the former judge, the state, and a key witness. Defense attorneys argue the meeting wasn't proper, while prosecutors disagree.
That they all intimidated.
Okay, all right. So I think we're getting the gist of this. Essentially, we're still in limbo, and we're not back on track to start this trial back again. It's all about, it's going to be several motions flying. Yo, motion to mistrial, motion to this. Oh, there's another second ex parte meeting. So this thing is not going to be resolved soon unless this judge again grants a mistrial, and then we could see, will they be tried again? So we will see, bro. We will see. Okay. Anyway, I don't know if you guys seen this, but apparently the the third suspect, actually fourth, because there was already 3 suspects arrested in the murder of Fulio. The fourth